I have the pleasure of announcing our keynote speaker, Aurelia Michael. So I will read her short little bio to get everybody pumped for her. Aurelia was born and raised in the Bronx, New York, where she began artistic training at the Dance Theater of Houston. She continued studying dance and later earned degrees from the University of Maryland, College Park, in dance and business management, as well as attended the Fashion Institute of Technology for a certification in image consulting. So, some of Aurelia's credits include The Hunger Games, Netflix, Gap, Black Girls Rock with Janelle Monáe, and The Today Show. And since 2011, Aurelia has been the founder and lead coach for Aurelia Michael Living, a life coaching, image consulting, and home organization focused company. So, as you can tell, she is versatile. She is an artist who prides herself on this versatility, her professionalism, and genuine respect for all facets of the arts. And she currently resides in the Los Angeles area, where she's focused on her career in TV and film and voiceover. So, with that, I will pass it to Aurelia, and thank you so much. We look forward to hearing you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much again to these lovely ladies of leadership for asking me to be a part of this program, not just as a mentor, but also as a speaker. I wish we could do this in person. I'm a very much so in-person kind of gal, but if anything virtually speaks to you, even if you have your camera off, I love a good snap. So even if your camera's off, if something I say resonates with you, yeah, Amber, if something resonates with you, feel free to get your snap on. So when I first was asked to deliver a keynote speech, to be honest, I kind of looked and made sure that my email was going to the right person. And I don't know whether it was a little bit of imposter syndrome or the reminder of how exhausted I get every time I have to click another Zoom link, or that plastic smile I always have on, even when the computer's closed, just in case. But either way, I felt a hesitation, and I knew that that meant this is something that I was supposed to do. Because as an actor and a coach, I face the unknowns daily, as well as rejection, but that's a whole other 10 episode BET series. And that even if I fail forward. And I think that's one of the true blessings about being a mentor and a mentee and having that relationship, is that there's always someone there to catch you. So I dubbed this the keynote speech, because I may say some things that make you go, nope, she ain't just say that, but most likely I did. Because as I mentioned, being a life coach of 10 years now, even though I still look 16, I've lost the ability to fluff, sugarcoat, or filter my real thoughts, because I think that's a disservice to everyone I encounter, including you. So I'm only interested in being me, and I hope that you are only interested in hearing the real me. So this is not necessarily a keynote speech. This is you, me, your beverage of choice, mine is water, hanging out on my couch and talking mentorship. And if I were to keep it, as the kids say, 100 with you, I didn't think I ever really had a mentor. And not because I didn't think they exist, but because I didn't see being a mentor as a title. I saw it as a generational obligation. I had cousins, my BFF's older sister, that cool uncle, and my first grade teacher that I still talk to. I haven't realized all these years that I was being mentored, because I just thought it was something you automatically do once you're wise enough to give sound advice. Kind of like a permit before you're licensed to parenthood to give suggestions to others. And so as I reflected on these years, I began to think, what advice would my mentors have given me so that I could be the GMOT, the greatest mentee of all time? And I'd imagine they say something like this: know that you know everything and nothing at the same damn time. You will always win when you can always believe that you may be wrong. Be coachable, because if you knew it all, you do it all, and you do it all well. It's okay if you ask for help, admit you're unsure, and accept that your feelings are valid. I think we're in such a watch me work moment in time that we want to prove so badly that we can do it on our own. So we constantly run this race, but we keep being the giver and the receiver of the baton and then wonder why we're running out of steam. Don't be afraid to ask for help and admit when you're unsure, when you're indecisive, when you need another perspective. for you're always in the picture frame, but your mentor gets to walk around your museum called life and help you connect this painting to that sculpture and this insecurity to that incident and this work of art to that undone painting waiting to be finished. Your feelings are valid, even if they feel wrong, even if they are wrong. They're true to you, and that's all that matters. And as a mentor, we're here to help you see that. And I think the third would be relish in your mistakes, for they are the slipping stones beneath your feet that force you to reach higher. I always believe that the only way up is to never look down. And in order to learn from my mistakes, I make sure I don't get burned from them. And if you can pull a win out of a losing hand, then you'll never have to walk away defeated. Or if you're a spades player, just keep going board and make a blind five. And speaking of spades, mentoring made me think about when I was 12 years old and my dad and I went to his rich friend's house to play a game of spades. And they said, we're going to do a little bet. If you win this game with your dad, we'll take you on a shopping spree for the first day of school. So if there's any New Yorkers out there, you know, you got to have your Jordans ready for the first day of school and your jam sport. And so I said, sure, let's do this bet. And they were like, but if you lose, you have to wear Skippies on the first day of school and not Keds, the Kmart Skippies. And I was like, sure, whatever, it's fine. We're going to win. I'm going to get my whole new, I'm going to have a whole new wardrobe, forget the Jordans. And so I lost and I cried all the way home. And this was about July. So I cried through the summer. All I kept thinking about was the first day of school. Everybody was going to be clowning me for all of the grade school about these Skippies. And so my dad said, let's try this. Write them a letter, tell them that you apologize for making this bet and ask them if they would renege on their decision. And so I wrote this long letter that I'm pretty sure never even made it to them. And I cried while writing it. And so my dad sent it out and they decided that I didn't have to do this. And my dad told me the one thing that you needed to learn from this is to never bet on something that you're not willing to lose. And so that always stuck with me. And then for some reason, 10 years later, Skippies were cool and I started rocking them. But then it was a big deal. So I think it's so important as a mentee that there are so many things that you can be learning from your mentor if you're willing and open to place the bet. So after thinking about what these mentors would tell me, I thought about my smart mouth as a kid and said, well, what would I tell my mentor if I could talk back and not get punished? And so I came up with this. The teacher can also be the student. As a mentor, never think you have finished learning all that life has to teach you, especially through more youthful eyes. To be honest, when I found out my mentee was from the class of 2024, which I didn't even know was happening yet, initially I was like, oh, well, what's she going to teach me? But I know that there are so many things that I can learn if I just ask them to teach. And what better way to learn leadership than hands-on experience? Be willing to receive just as much as you're eager to give. Then I would tell them to trust the path, trust the process, and trust the progression. You won't always see eye to eye, and I don't think that's a real reflection of relationships. But as long as you can see heart to heart, agreeing to disagree is encouraged much more than it's condemned. So trust your intuition. You don't need to be perfect as a mentor. You just need to be honest and available. Do all you can and release all you can't, because this is a mentorship and not the Babysitter's Club. And lastly, make sure that you commit full throttle. The last thing a mentee needs is another person making another promise that they can't keep. Stick it out even when your schedule says to give it up. Remember your why and make sure that your why is bigger than giving back to the community. Experience the ride with your hands up, not gripping on for dear life to the handlebars like those people in the roller coaster pics. And lastly, I thought, what if my younger self and my incredible mentors could tell you all something that you and your mentor and mentees could work on together? And given the current climate, it was clear. Take back, own, and flourish in your power. I don't know about you, but 2020 really shook me up on so many levels. And it really woke me up to, I am more than who I am without my work. I am enough without my praise. And unfortunately, at times we had to learn who we are with or without our loved ones close to us. We may have realized we weren't living the life we truly wanted to live in 2019, and 2020 just brought all that was swept under the rug onto our laps. So baby Aurelia and her mentors challenge you to help one another own your power. And that's passion, ownership, wealth, energy, and reputation. Making sure that you're reigniting the passions you once had or recognizing if what you're doing now is truly what fuels your spirit, because there's not another day to waste. Knowing your why and letting it drive you full speed ahead. And just as much as you are passionate, be patient. And as much as you are passionate, make sure that matches with your practice. And with that passion, always make sure that you're paying it forward, for you can always find a way to turn passion into purpose. Ownership, taking responsibility for what you're in control of, and celebrate your role as a mentor and mentee, because this is really something to be proud of. That you're connecting with someone with the pure intention of bettering each other's lives. But don't confuse that with control or telling each other what to do. So much of this life is out of our hands, so only focus on what's in your grasp. And when we're talking about wealth, I'm not necessarily tapping into finances, but spiritual, emotional, and mental wealth that cannot be priced. Remind each other to always speak from a place of abundance and not lack. The fact that you even have the time to be here in this room shows that you're a solution to so many of the world's problems. And there's no better way, I believe, to feel worthy than to serve. And there's no better way to feel humble than to be served. And with your energy, make sure you set the tone when you enter the room, not follow the crowd, even if it's online. Put your jeans on. Yes, the jeans in the back of the closet collecting dust, hoping they still fit when you put them back on. Show up for yourself, and the universe will continue to show up for you. Be sensitive to the energy of your partnership. Nobody's perfect, and I think that's one of the biggest reliefs. Mentors don't have all the answers, and mentees don't always ask all the right questions, but be willing to grow and admit you don't know together. And really make this a priority. It may mean some of your unnecessary distractions have to go. And so my personal motto is always, if it doesn't excite you and it doesn't ignite you, don't let it invite you. I'll say that one more time for the people in the back. If it doesn't excite you and it doesn't ignite you, don't let it invite you. Because the saying used to be, ain't nobody got time for that. But now I just say, oh no, I do have time, just not for that. Click. And lastly, reputation. Yes, the people in the back heard it this time. That's right. If there's anything a mentor should instill in their mentee, is that reputation will always surpass resume in the long run. People don't hire resumes, they hire people when it comes to longevity. So who you are will go a lot further than what you do. First impressions are hard to change, and you want to live a life where if people were to talk bad about you, no one would believe it. And that doesn't mean putting on the Ronald McDonald happy face. Be real. The world doesn't need more nice people, it needs more honest people. And don't be afraid to say no, or not right now. Because if you're always saying yes, then you're already always saying no to yourself. If you teach people how to treat you, they'll never need another reminder. When I think about reputation, I go back to when I was pursuing Broadway. I auditioned for a show called Holler If You Hear Me. It was the Tupac musical. And a girl and I went out for it, and she got the job and I didn't. And I could have gotten bitter instead of better and just said, forget her. But I supported her. I showed up to her previews. I kept in touch with her even when she moved away. She moved back, and I kept in touch with her for 8 years. And then when I went to audition for the Donna Summer musical on Broadway, she happened to be the assistant in the room, in which she told the choreographer, no one in this room can do what she does. You need to hire her. And I won't say she's the sole reason I got the job, but I'll say she was a big reason. And if I had put my ego in the way, that opportunity probably wouldn't have happened, especially in 8 months. So as I recognize that before you're labeled mentors and mentees, you are people, I wanted to leave you with 5 ways to regain your power as an individual. The first one is adaptability, which is the art of rolling with the punches. We've been doing things one way for so long simply because they're familiar. So we do have the capacity to change and expand. We just have to have the mindset and willpower to deal with adversity, doubt, and the frustration that comes along with it. Anyone else been frustrated with the adaptability? Just me? Okay, cool. Some other folks. Number 2 is ignoring unnecessary distraction and drama. Do not feed the beast. My mom's new thing that I have adapted is when someone comes to her with negativity, she says, my neck is broke. And ever since I heard that, I've been breaking my neck to the negativity, to the drama, to the unnecessary distractions. It's already happening. Enough negativity is happening on the outside world. I want to create and control the peace within. So focus in on being the calm in the storm and not the storm itself. Number 3 is to be flexible. Like we said earlier, you roll with the punches or you get knocked out. Things are going to stretch and bend whether you want them to or not. So choose to go down a different path and believe that things will not turn out how they're supposed to, but better, because you're better. This means that you're taking on something extraordinarily tough on your own with no guidance or advice on how to do this, because no one else has experienced the pandemic before this. So aside from being flexible, give yourself some credit, because it's so much easier to talk about the things we don't like about ourselves, or the things we haven't done well, or the things that have gone not the way we wanted them to because of something we did, as opposed to focusing on all the incredible things that we've done in a time no one ever saw coming. Number 4 is, when faced with adversity, don't say why me, say try me. It's no more woe is me, it's whoa, it's me. You really want to get some grit, heart, guts, perseverance, adrenaline, passion, fight, whatever your word is. Find it, own it, and share it with the world. And last but not least, don't major in the minors or the electives, even worse. Don't worry about what others are thinking about you, because most of them aren't, not because you're not special, but because everyone's focusing on themselves. So just focus on what you want to project to the world. And hopefully that's in alignment with what the world is seeing. Do not compare and compete, because on your best day, I couldn't be you. On my best day, you couldn't be me. And being truthful to yourself is what matters. Amen. Right. Don't pick the battles. Don't make everything a war, and don't sweat the small stuff.
That's right.
So if I may leave you with some homework in true UMD fashion, I want you to pick one of those words that resonated with you the most, that you'd like to work on first, and then share it with your mentor or mentee. That's adaptability, ignoring unnecessary distraction and drama. Be flexible. When faced with adversity, don't say why me, say try me, and don't major in the minors. If together you choose to see this as a partnership versus a hierarchy, you'll be just as open to give as you are to receive. You will choose to talk less and listen more. And as my daddy always says, I never learned anything while talking. So make sure just as much as you teach, you're always being a student. And on those days where you feel the imposter syndrome, or you don't feel like clicking the Zoom link, and you can't seem to remove the plastic smile even after the computer shut down, remember your why. You are the solution to someone's challenges. You are the moat, and you know everything and nothing at the same damn time. And that is beautiful. Thank you all. Please stay connected to me, AureliaMichael.com. Same name on all social media platforms. Appreciate y'all virtually listening.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you again, Erica, and thank all of you for attending this evening as we kick off our mentoring program. I hope that you all enjoyed our speaker. She was phenomenal. Like I said, I was taking notes, and I'm very excited about all that she said. If it doesn't excite you and it doesn't ignite you, then don't let it invite you. So I hope that all of you are excited and ignited about our mentorship program. Thank you so very much, Aurelia. She has provided her contact information in the chat. And also in the chat, I have provided some of our upcoming events and the links to register for those events. The University of Maryland Black Alumni Association will be celebrating Black History Month with our Black History Week, which will be the week of the 15th through the 19th. So far, we have our February 17th event, which is What Not to Wear, and it's going to focus on wardrobe and the workplace, whether you are working virtually or on site, and we strongly encourage students to attend. So if you are a student, we ask that you register and let your networks know about it. On the 18th, we have a program called Say It Loud, a Black Terpspective, which will be co-sponsoring with the Black Alumni Weekend Steering Committee. And it is going to highlight the stories and experiences of Black Terps through the decades. We will have representatives from the 1960s to present, including the founder of the Black Student Union and the co-founder of Black Terps Matter. And on February 19th, we will be continuing our financial wellness series with part 2, which will focus on acquiring capital for different projects, and that will be on Friday, February 19th. And anything additional, we will share via social media, which is also posted in the chat, and email. So thank you all again for joining us this evening. And if there are any questions, please let us know. If not, then I want to say good evening and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you all so very much.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.